What's going on, everybody? It's your boy King. Got a prediction video for y'all today. I'm going to do the Eastern Conference in the NBA 2016-2017 season predictions. What I believe that everybody would finish by the time the playoffs come. So, with that being said, this is a remake of the video I made previously last night. I know a few of my subscribers seen that video. I took that video down because I was speaking mostly out of anger. So once again, I'm going to explain to y'all what's going on. I was planning to wait and see what happened with Russell Westbrook and also Blake Griffin. But after watching numerous videos last night, mostly a bunch of teenagers, kids, not saying that they couldn't have any type of basketball knowledge, but I just seen a lot of people throw shade at a lot of teams that they knew nothing about. So I'm going to give my opinion and my prediction. But before I do that, I'm going to explain a few things to you guys. First and foremost, everybody know Cleveland is going to be number one in the East. That's known. I don't have to go with roster. The roster didn't change. They only lost Matthew Dellavedova. They lost Mozgov, and I heard yesterday, if it's true, it may be a rumor, that J.R. Smith has went elsewhere. So of course, number one, Cleveland. But I've seen a lot of people put Boston at number two. Boston only added Al Horford. As they lost a few. I don't think Al Horford just pushes them that far up to the number two spot. And the reason why I say that is Al Horford is older and he's not the same player that he used to be. Al Horford about 4 years ago probably would have, but even though they played well in the playoffs, I just don't see it, man. I don't see Al Horford being that guy that just take that team up to the second seed in the East. It's a couple of other teams that's a little bit more talented in my eyesight. But it's a great addition for those guys. You got a veteran, somebody who can command the locker room for you and stuff like that. So I still don't see him at number two, but again, I'll give you guys my predictions towards the end of this video. I also seen Indiana plays way too high, around the 3 spot. Indiana added Thaddeus Young. They added Al Jefferson. And, they got a point guard now, Jeff Teague. So, with that being said, I still don't see it. Not no 3. Indiana has no bench. They have Miles Turner, and that's it. It's going to take more than Miles Turner. Rodney Stuckey is not a factor. So, and on top of that, the backcourt still can't defend anybody. They can't stop nobody with Jeff Teague, and they definitely not going to stop nobody with Monte Ellis. They'll be oversized this season, I feel. A lot of people have bigger, more athletic guards, more talented guards, if you ask me. So them jumping up that high to 3, yes, they do have Paul George, of course. But I just feel like they don't have enough firepower. I seen somebody say that they think the team is better than it was years back. Before that injury, no. That team was much better, and they all pretty much went downhill after PG-13 got hurt. So, no. To me, they're not better. Yes, they will make the playoffs, but I'll discuss that later with y'all. Another team I want to talk about is the Atlanta Hawks. To me, they got bad. They got worse before they got better. And that's just that, man. I mean, you lost Al Horford, you lost your point guard, you running with Dennis Schroeder and Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, to me, is not an improvement. Dwight Howard has declined. Dwight Howard has constant back issues. He's not the same guy anymore, man. I don't see how that would make it any different for the Atlanta Hawks. Actually, they got worse to me, and that's just my opinion. Um, you know, you got players on that team that's just old. You know what I mean? I mean, Kyle Korver need to retire. You know, it's over for that guy. You know, you still got Paul Millsap, but like I said, you got players getting older on that team. I just don't see him being a high seed like that. Charlotte, pretty much the same to me. Didn't really do much or nothing. Lost a player, a couple players. You added few, but not nothing significant. So pretty much the same team to me, or maybe just a little bit worse. Um, the New York Knicks. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Derrick Rose for saying that they some type of super team. Yeah, super question mark team is what they are, man. I seen people put the Knicks as high as the third spot. I could not believe that shit. You got Derrick Rose injury prone. You have Joakim Noah injury prone. You have Carmelo Anthony is now starting to be injury prone. He has a lot of nagging injuries. You have Brandon Jennings that's coming from a devastating injury, an Achilles tear, which take a couple of years to come back from. And you have him coming off the bench, which he is not a bench player. So y'all gonna have to figure that out, cause we tried it too. Brandon Jennings ain't no bench guy, man. He just ain't. So I mean, they're gonna have to figure it out with the chemistry. Yes, they have Chris Naps, Porzingis, but it's not like he was rookie of the year or something. He played well, that's true. But to make to say that they a super team, that's kind of crazy. Yes, they have a lot of shiny names on that team, but those names have crutches. So no, I don't. No way possible. I can see them getting past fifth or maybe even sixth. But with that being said, you have some other question marks. You got Chicago. Chicago, of course, is another question mark. Yes, they got Robin Lopez, Dwayne Wade, they got Rondo, Jimmy Butler. Then they just got a bunch of young guys to mix in with that, man. But I don't think Robin Lopez is that big of a significant signing. But you got D Wade, of course, which is his health is a question too. D Wade is, of course, older. He's older. A lot of these guys are on their way out, man, and people making big fuss about these names. It's not about names. It's about fit and gelling that team together and you know being able to throw certain matchups against teams. You got to be a versatile team. The Bulls, to me, um, they should have went in rebuild mode. They shouldn't have went the direction they went, man. Because I feel like they're still gonna be in the same position. They're still gonna be a low seed. Um, so that's just my opinion. No disrespect to you Chicago fans, but I feel like they should have went for rebuild. Then you got a couple of question mark teams like Milwaukee and the Wizards. Wizards lost Nene, and I don't know, a bunch of question marks at the end of the standings for the playoff push. But with that being said, let me go ahead and give you guys my list. Number one, of course, Cleveland. Number two, I'm gonna go back with Toronto just because of their coach and the chemistry that they've built. Even though they lost a defensive anchor in Bismack Biyombo, I think they still might manage to go ahead and get to the number two spot. Now the 3 and 4 spot is tricky for me. All right, I'm gonna give my team a worst case scenario. So I'm gonna say Boston at 3. I'm gonna say Boston at 3 just because of the scrappiness and the talent, and plus adding a veteran, which is what they needed. I'll give them a 3 spot. But for number 4, I'm going with the Detroit Pistons. A lot of these videos I watch, these people have no knowledge of the Detroit Pistons or the players that they sign. ESPN do, NBA TV do, any basketball mind does, but these young guys are lost, man. And a lot of these older guys too. I watched a few older cats too, man. They was a little lost about the Pistons. Let me explain and break down the Pistons at number 4. Last season, yes, they got swept to the Cavaliers. Every game for the Cavaliers was pure hell. If you watch that series, if you're a Cavaliers fan, you know what I'm talking about. The Pistons fought and scratched every single game. It was a tough game for Cleveland. I feel like they played them the best in the Eastern Conference for the playoffs. They had no bench. You had Steve Blake. You had, Jody Meeks was just coming back. He didn't even get no run. You had nobody serious. You had Anthony Tolliver, man. You just had nobody serious coming off the bench. Stan Van Gundy addressed that to the fullest this year. And he's going to make a few switches. He added Boban Marjanovic. He added John Lure. And he added Ish Smith. 3 players that are going to play big roles for the Pistons. And on top of that, he drafted Henry Ellison. Okay? So now you have Reggie Jackson and Ish Smith at your point guard position. That's your 1-2. Shooting guard, you got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, of course. And then you're going to have Stanley Johnson. Stan Van Gundy is going to let Stanley Johnson play shooting guard. He wanted him to work on his dribbling and his left hand so he can play shooting guard, because this is security for KCP. If they can't work out a deal and KCP end up leaving, Stanley Johnson can step in and take that place. And then you're going to have Reggie Bullock coming in also as shooting guard, because Stanley Johnson will be playing 2 guard, but he will still be playing shooting guard in certain situations. You have big ball, you have small ball, you never know what the situation is. The Pistons have one of the most versatile teams in the East now. Everybody can play more than one position on that team, damn near. John Lure would have been a starter for Phoenix, but Markieff Morris was still there, and can definitely ball, can stretch the floor, athletic, he can ball. Boban, Greg Popovich, said his best kept secret. And when you seen him get on the court, you know why. You know why the Spurs fans love this guy so much, man. First of all, he's huge. Let's get that out the way. But his basketball IQ, his skill level, he's not no great player. I'm not going overboard now. But what he can bring as far as rebounding and blocking shots and also scoring and being a problem for the other team, and also practicing with Andre Drummond, is going to play a big role for the Pistons. They don't have to always go with Aaron Baines, who was undermatched sometimes by not being athletic enough to handle some of the centers. So now they can throw Boban at you. They can go extra big. So, you want to hack Andre Drummond, you would throw Boban in there, and you still won't be able to go near the basket. So Stan Van Gundy looked at every single place where the Pistons needed to get a fixture. Ish Smith, of course, can ball, and everybody knows that. He played for the Sixers, of course, but everybody knows Ish Smith can ball. So that's with the Pistons. That's why I got him at number 4. I didn't want to talk too long. But as far as number 5, Eastern Conference, to me, I'm going to have to go with, oh man, as much as I don't want to say it, Indiana. Going to go with Indiana. Definitely going to go with Indiana. Just because of who they added, man. And just because what the rest of the East looked like behind them. Got to go with Indiana, man. I think they can go ahead and take that 5th seed, man. it'll be a nice playoff battle. You know, whoever they play in the playoff, it'll be a nice battle getting past Indiana, man. So, yeah, I'm gonna give them the fifth. As far as the sixth seed, I'm kind of leaning towards Charlotte. I'm kind of leaning towards Charlotte for the sixth seed. I feel like they just, off of just watching them last year, man, and the talent that they do have, I'm gonna go with them at the sixth spot. And I already explained to you guys what these teams have to offer. Um, the seventh and eighth spot to me is going to be similar to last year. I'm gonna give you a direct team of what I think in my prediction, but then I'm gonna give you the scenario what I believe will happen. I'm gonna say at seven the New York Knicks and at eight the Chicago Bulls. I don't think Milwaukee or Washington are going to get those two spots. But in a nutshell, I will say the seventh and eighth seed is between those four teams that I just mentioned: Chicago, New York, Washington, Milwaukee. Those will be the four teams battling for that seventh and eighth spot. Just like last year, you had a bunch of teams fighting for the last position. The last couple of positions is going to be the same thing. I just don't think the Knicks have. I don't think their starters can play the minutes that's demanded for you to be that good of a team. That's a lot of minutes for those old guys to play, man. That's a lot of minutes because that bench is worthless, and they have to be out there on that floor. If they're off the floor too long, they won't win a game. So those guys have to stay on the court in order for them to win, and that's a lot to ask for some old beat up bodies like that, man. I just don't see it happening. So between the seventh and eighth spot, you got those four teams, man. You got Washington, they got John Wall, of course, but Bradley Beal can't stay healthy either. So it's a lot of health issues with those bottom four teams, except Milwaukee, but they're young, and the Greg Monroe thing didn't work out for them. Of course, their defense got worse last year because Greg Monroe just doesn't play defense, and they're trying to move him, actually. So unless they can move him and get a pretty good player, I don't see them, getting past that. So those four teams is who I got for 7 and 8. So I'm going to run through the list again for y'all. Cleveland, number 1. Number 2, Toronto. Number 3, Boston. Number 4, Detroit Pistons. Number 5, Indiana. Number 6, Charlotte. Number 7 is a toss-up, but I'm going to say New York. Number 8, I'm going to say Chicago. And I'm not throwing shade at Atlanta, but I think their time is over. Atlanta, you will be in that fight for the last spot. I'm sorry. You will be in that fight for the 7th and 8th seed. It's just going to be a collection of teams that's going to be teetering back and forth for the 7th and 8th spot. That is my predictions. Atlanta just got worse to me. I'm sorry. Dwight Howard, man, unless he can turn into Superman again, which I highly doubt with that bad back that he got, I don't see it, man. Point guard play there is just not good enough. So you basically run into the same situation. So I don't know, man. These are my opinions, of course. And what I've seen with these teams in free agency and what I've watched last season as far as the talent level of some of the guys these guys picked up and the ages of these guys that they picked up, how they mesh together. It's a collective thing of different sorts of things or whatever. The reason why I gave my opinions. So with that being said, that's my prediction. You know what it is. Smash that like button for your boy. Leave it in the comments. Leave your list in the comments. This is not a right or wrong video. I'm not saying that I'm right, and I'm not saying that you're just wrong, but some of you guys are crazy. But leave your list in the comments, man. Let me know what you think. Of course, this is my opinion. Smash the like button for your boy. If you're a newcomer, subscribe. I'm going to give you realistic analysis every time, man. So smash the like button for your boy. Subscribe if you're a newcomer. It's your boy King. I'm out of here, man.